They dragged their feet, unwilling to treat it as urgent. For Jeanette's family, that wait was agony. Florence sat by the door that night, eyes fixed on the knob, convinced that at any moment it would turn and her daughter would step inside. But the door stayed closed, and the silence of that night would only deepen in the days to come. 6 weeks passed. Summer was fading, and with every day that Jeanette didn't come home, her family's hope was running thin. But the discovery wouldn't come from the police. It came from a neighbor and from her dog. On September 19th, 1972, 47-year-old Grace Treason was in her kitchen when she heard her dog whining outside. At first, it sounded like the usual fussing, until the barking grew sharper, more frantic. Grace glanced out the window and saw the dog emerging from the woods, dragging something pale and dangling in its mouth. At first, she thought it was a stick, but when the animal dropped it onto the lawn, her heart stopped. It wasn't a stick. It was a human arm. The fingernail still visible, the flesh already decaying. Panicked, Grace called the police. Within hours, patrol cars and detectives swarmed the neighborhood. Officers followed the dog's trail back through the woods, pushing past brush and climbing uneven ground, until they reached a site that had always carried an ominous name, the Houdaille Quarry. And at the edge of that quarry was a jagged cliff locals had whispered about for years. They called it the Devil's Teeth. What the police found there would haunt Springfield forever. Jeanette's body was lying at the top of the cliff, badly decomposed. But what froze investigators wasn't just the remains, it was the arrangement around them. Branches had been laid out in the shape of a coffin. Small wooden crosses were scattered in the dirt. Some locals swore that there were markings, even a crude pentagram, and whispered about mutilated animal remains nearby. This wasn't just a body left in the woods. To many, it looked like an offering. Word spread quickly. Whispers of witchcraft, rumors of satanic sacrifice. Neighbors passing the story in hushed voices, each detail more twisted than the last. And for Jeanette's family, the nightmare had reached its cruelest stage. Their daughter hadn't run away. She hadn't simply vanished. She had been left on the Devil's Teeth, arranged in a way